Welcome to the Fit Vegan Podcast, the show where we help you optimize your health, fitness, and mindset on a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. My name is Maxime Sigouin. I am a former triathlete, powerlifter, bodybuilder, and basketball player, and I've been vegan for over 9 years. I'm also the founder and CEO of Fit Vegan Coaching, which has helped over 500 vegans from 20 different countries to completely transform their bodies and their health. I'm excited for you to hear today's episode. Let's get into the show. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fit Vegan Podcast. As you see by the title today, we're going to talk about cures for laziness and feeling unmotivated. So I took a few notes on my phone because I wanted to make sure that I absolutely covered everything that would be useful for you, because I had a lot of times in my life where I was feeling drastically unmotivated. I was feeling lazy. I just didn't want to get out of bed and do the work that I was supposed to do. And I wanted to share the things that drastically helped me to up level my energy, my motivation, and allow me to get back on track. So, the first thing, it was focusing on the basics. I thought that I need to watch like motivation videos online, or I need to drink a little bit more caffeine, or I just needed to find my why. A big part of it was I just need to get better sleep. And it might sound funny because you might tell yourself like, I get good sleep, but actually tracking my sleep and seeing the quality of the sleep that I had was actually pretty terrible, as much as I felt like I was sleeping enough. The other big part is, I don't know if that ever happens to you, but when you feel lazy and unmotivated and you go all day without doing the things that you know you should be doing to progress towards the goals that you have, when it gets to the nighttime, you kind of feel, you have a little bit of anxiety because you don't feel like you actually did anything. And so your body wants to stay awake and try to do things to move the needle forward. Maybe it's just me, but I've talked with some of my entrepreneurs and really type A friends, and they've said they've experienced similar things, that if they don't feel like they've been productive throughout the day and they've took action on what matters to them, when it comes to the nighttime, they have a hard time sleeping because their brain stays awake in the hope that they're going to do something to progress towards their goal. So the first thing was getting a good night of sleep, because when you have a good night of sleep, we all know, right? When you sleep really well from Friday to Saturday night, you wake up Saturday morning, you're feeling awesome, you have a lot of energy, your mood is better, and that really helped me make a huge difference in terms of kickstarting my high levels of energy for the day, and obviously helped me take action towards the things that matter to me. Not sleeping well left me feeling lazy, feeling like I was being unaccomplished for the day, especially if I was sleeping in really, really late because I went to bed really late. I just felt like I wasted a huge chunk of the day, and then I didn't want to do anything for the rest of the day. So going to bed early, waking up early, getting a good night of sleep just allows you to feel awesome when you start the day. The other part is stacking your wins. All right, so this is something that I do every single day. You've probably heard me talk about the 7 non-negotiables, or the things that I do in my morning routine, which again is very short and concise because I want to get to my office and start working when I get up. But you want to stack your wins, right? And the smallest one, could be like just making your bed in the morning. I heard this quote one day, it was like, make your bed first thing in the morning, start stacking your wins, because at least if you had a shitty day all day, then you come home to a made bed. All right, so just making your bed first thing in the morning, taking a cold shower first thing in the morning, drinking your water, rehydrating your body first thing in the morning, doing 5 push-ups first thing in the morning, whatever it may be, going outside to walk your dog, to get some steps in, to get some sun exposure, doing some meditation in the morning, reading 10 pages in the morning. Whatever you want your morning routine to consist of, that's going to allow you to feel awesome. And I invite you to make those steps very simple so that you can easily follow them and put them in the order that you want to follow. Because if you have a clear routine, it'll eventually just become a habit. You wake up and it's like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, bam, I'm ready for the day. And what happens when you do those things is you're stacking your wins, right? Your alarm goes off, you get out of bed, you don't snooze it and stay in bed. You go, personally, go to the bathroom, I weigh myself, then I take a cold shower, then I go and I drink my water, and then I make a coffee for Ivy and I, and then I go sit in my office for 3 hours for some deep work, and then I come out, and then I work out, and then when I come back, then I read my 10 pages, and I get ready for the day. That's my routine because I like to do some deep work in the morning. But for some members, it's very similar. Is they'll wake up, they'll go and take their cold shower, and then they're going to meditate. They're going to read 5 pages, and then they start their day. So stack it in the order that you want to. There's no perfect order for any of this. I've probably tried 100 different iterations of a morning routine, but you want to put it in order that makes sense to you, and that's going to allow you to feel good and feel like you're accomplishing things as you're progressing throughout the day. All right, so stacking your wins is a big thing. And when it comes to laziness and feeling unmotivated, this one is not necessarily a tactical thing that you can practice, but it's more an internal thing that you need to discover. If I was pursuing a path in my life that left me very unmotivated, like I wasn't excited to do the thing that I was doing, whether that was my work, whether it was a project that I was working on, something that I was studying, or in a relationship that I was uninspired by, that I didn't feel was the right relationship for me, whatever it may be, I needed to shift these things, because at the end of the day, if you don't live a life that is in alignment with the type of life that you want to live, then you will feel very unmotivated to get up and do the actions that you need to do throughout the day. And it's going to be hidden. It's going to show up as laziness, right? Because you're just not really motivated to take action, because you're not very inspired by your life. So it's very important for you to create a life that you're inspired by. It's very important for you to create and work on projects that will make you feel inspired. So if currently, which that was me before when I had my corporate job, if you have a corporate job right now and you feel very uninspired by it, but you have bills to pay, you have a family. For me, I had an ex-partner and I had cancer, so I had to work to make money come in for the cancer treatments. When I came home, I would obviously be a caregiver, but I would always take time to focus on my side hustle, right? I was always a big fan of educating people and helping people thrive on plants. And so I would do, YouTube content. I would do Instagram content. I would write blog posts. I would record some podcasts back in the day. Like I would always work on my side hustle until eventually it became my full-time hustle, right? I've almost been doing this full-time for 3 years now, but it started as a side hustle. So that every day I had something that inspired me and that kept me going. I'm like, great, I'm going to work. I don't like working there, but it's making money to pay for the bills and the cancer treatments. And then it was taking care of my ex-partner at the time. And I was like, great, I need to focus on this thing where I can just pour my heart into it. And I feel inspired and motivated to take action on. Because if I didn't have that thing, I don't know how long I would have lasted without going crazy. If I just completely did things that that weren't fun or didn't align with the ultimate life that I wanted to create. So if you feel like you have some laziness, you might feel unmotivated, right? One of them is start stacking those small wins. Just allow yourself to get some really quick and easy wins. Set a small target for yourself and achieve it, right? Don't say, I want to lose 20 pounds. Say, I want to start by losing 1 pound. Once you lost that 1 pound, go for the second pound, go for the third pound, right? You call it the 1K mindset. If you've ever ran marathons, half marathon, or raced Ironman like I have in the past, as you can see here if you're watching on YouTube, you don't focus on how long you have to go, especially for like a half Ironman. You focus on 1 kilometer at a time, right? You focus on what's happening, what's in front of you right now. You don't worry about the hill that's going to come up in 20 kilometers and then, the run that you have to do after the bike. You just focus on 1 kilometer at a time, because if you look at the big mountain that you need to conquer, it can feel very overwhelming and just leave you feeling frozen. Like you don't want to take any action because it feels so overwhelming and there's so much happening. Just the 1K mindset, take it 1 kilometer at a time. It's the same thing for your life. So if right now that's the situation, you're just feeling that way, but you're living a life that's aligned with you and you love your life, you're just not sure why you're feeling uninspired and unmotivated, I would start stacking your wins. If you're not living a life that's aligned with you, I would start making these shifts, because at the end of the day, you only have one life. You want to live your best life. You want to give the best of yourself to the people that you love around you, and you can't be your best self if you're unhappy, right? And ultimately, I feel like unhappiness will lead to laziness and to feeling unmotivated, and then it just becomes a vicious cycle and a snowball effect of you not taking actions on the things that matter to you, and then to just purely you feeling lazy and unmotivated. On the flip side, I do have to add it because I'm very type A and I work really, really, really hard. And there's a lot of people like me that are type A and that work really, really hard. If there's a day where you feel lazy and you're crashing because you've been pushing so hard, it's fine to take a rest day, right? For me, my rest day is tomorrow. I'm actually recording this podcast on a Saturday, which I never record podcasts on a Saturday, but just dropped off Ivy at the airport. She's back in LA for a little bit, and I needed to record some podcasts for the next week. So we're making it happen on a Saturday, and we're going to be taking a full day off on a Sunday. So if that's your scenario and you feel like you're being lazy and unmotivated because you're taking one day off, then just a little reevaluation of mindset of like, you need to rest. You can't sprint forever, which that in of itself can be a whole podcast on its own. If you're have the inability to pause and relax, which I highly struggle with when I'm working really, really hard on being able to like take those days off. All right. So hopefully this podcast was helpful. Again, we went in a few different realms, but if you're feeling lazy and motivated, I would explore the things that I shared with you today. They've helped me tremendously in my journey and have allowed me to build the life that I've always, a better life than I've dreamt of having when I was in my early 20s. And now it's just about, going to the next level from here and continuing to have fun. But I felt really lazy and unmotivated when I was younger. And those are the things that helped me get out of it every time I got into it, because feeling lazy and unmotivated, it's not a one-time thing. Sometimes it may come up again, right? And you have to deal with it once again and just have to do a little bit of a reevaluation of, am I going down a path in my life now where I need to realign? Because, your life is kind of like the tires on your car. From time to time, you need to go for a realignment of your tires, because the more you drive, eventually you get thrown off track. You just need to reassess them to make sure you're continuing to head in the direction that you want, and that you're creating the life that you want, because life can just, slightly push you 1 degree off over the year, and eventually you're heading in a complete different direction that you didn't want to. So very important to realign. So hopefully this podcast episode was helpful. I actually have a really cool thing happening with the podcast. We're going to be changing the name very soon, but before I do, I will make sure to say it like a month before I change it, so you guys are aware of the new name. I just want to expand the horizon of the guests that I can have on the show, because there's many other different topics that I'm deeply passionate about and I would like to interview, but there's limitations with the current name of the podcast. There's people that are very big in the mindset space, and that their belief is to eat meat. But they have a lot of good knowledge in a mindset space that would be able to help anyone, and they don't want to come on the show because of the name. And I get it. It doesn't align with their value, and that's fine. I'll respect that, but it's not because they eat meat that it neglects the knowledge that they have in the mindset and self-development space. And so I just want to open up the horizon, and plant-based nutrition will obviously a core center of the program. We're just going to shift the name a little bit. It's going to allow me to reach a bigger audience and to help more people that potentially haven't considered going plant-based to go plant-based. We're going to be sharing amazing stats and facts, and continue to interview more doctors in the plant-based nutrition space to continue educating the world. So just want to give you guys a little heads up that is coming in the next month or so. All right. So you guys enjoyed the episode. Be sure to rate it a 5-star. If you enjoyed or have any messages for me, my link for the Instagram is down below, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Ciao.